Before we start, please like this video, subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon. Thanks. Netflix's bosses will want a real-life version of The Crown from the Duke and Duchess of Sussex in return for their $100 million, experts claim today. The couple are yet to confirm if they will attend the Platinum Jubilee in June amid rumours that the royal family would ban the TV crew following them around at the Invictus Games in Holland over the past week. The Invictus documentary is being made as Netflix shares fell more than 25% as the company said its user base shrank for the first time in more than a decade, with total subscribers down as global lockdowns ended. Today, royal experts predicted Harry and Meghan's provocative comments on the royals will continue to please Netflix and keep the contracts coming for the rest of their lives, especially after Harry spilled the beans to NBC on his private 30-minute Windsor meeting with his grandmother while accompanied by his wife. One source told The Telegraph, "What the visit to Windsor Castle last week demonstrates is that this was more about topping up their royal credentials, doubtless to the delight of Netflix, than checking up on Granny." And some claimed that what Netflix really want is the Sussexes on the Buckingham Palace balcony in June with the Queen, Prince Charles and Prince William, rather than the couple's recent trips to New York and The Hague or their children tending to chickens at their Montecito mansion. Journalist Tom Bauer, who is working on a biography of Meghan Markle, told Mail Online, "I don't believe the British public would tolerate Harry and Meghan on the balcony." The recent speculation has been created by their Hollywood publicists to force the palace to accept the Sussexes' demands. It's becoming an unseemly battle which the palace needs to firmly squash. He added, to enhance his credibility in America and for Netflix, he needs to pretend that he has a special relationship with the Queen. Prince Harry hitched a ride on a golf buggy to attend a powerlifting event at the penultimate day of Invictus Games today. A Netflix crew again filmed his arrival at the stadium, having followed the Sussexes for their upcoming documentary, Heart of Invictus. Royal expert Penny Junor fears there will be more bombshells to come on Netflix, who have paid the Sussexes a reported $100 million. She told The Sun, when he had a conversation with his father and William after Prince Philip's funeral that was leaked and then reported by Gayle King on CBS in America days later, "So I think the family should be wary of him if he comes to the Platinum Jubilee. He is under contract to Netflix for a lot of money and they are going to get their money's worth. I fear he has slightly sold his soul to the devil. Any network is hungry for news and gossip about the royal family, and the closer you can get to the real deal the better. And he is the real deal. You can't have a situation where Netflix or any other US channel is going to be reporting private conversations. I fear no good can come of this." Robert Lacey, royal author, wrote in the Times today, "The tragic paradox of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex is that they proclaim their wish to escape the royal circus, but that's all they really want to talk about, while taking TV camera crews round the world to record them doing so. So it has come to this, the defiantly ex-royal couple are actually trading in royal intimacies. It is no wonder the prince should fear he might suffer from burnout. Anyone would get burnt out at the prospect of having to conjure up provocative comments on the same half-dozen topics to keep the contracts coming for the rest of his life." Times columnist Hilary Rose wrote, "Netflix's executives haven't paid so much because they're interested in the speech the couple gave last year in Central Park, or even the Invictus Games, which anyone can see on TV. What they've paid for is a real-life version of The Crown." The strategy now being pursued from California appears to be for the Sussexes to get exactly the sort of hybrid half-in, half-out relationship with the royals that the palace thought had been ruled out. The Sussex business model relies on the royals, and the royal family's business model increasingly relies on not becoming collateral damage. Meanwhile, another royal expert today alleged the Sussexes could face pressure from Netflix executives to produce more royal content after the streaming service lost 200,000 subscribers in the first 3 months of this year. Royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams has warned of possible pressure from Netflix executives to get more royal content, but he added that filming anything with other members of the royal family was highly unlikely. Mr. Fitzwilliams told Mail Online, "When Harry and Meghan signed up to Netflix for a deal worth $100 million, £77 million, according to the New York Times, in September 2020, the company appeared to be riding high with a huge and expanding reach owing to the pandemic. It was undoubtedly a cachet to have two royals with a high global profile as well as produce The Crown which, though controversial, was an international hit. A year and a half later, they have actually produced absolutely nothing. It is true that they have announced 2 series, Heart of Invictus, which will follow competitors to the games, which were Harry's creation, and which were postponed twice owing to the pandemic, and Meghan's animated series for children, Pearl, about a 12-year-old girl. The dramatic news today that Netflix are now losing viewers, introducing advertisements and trying to crack down on the password sharing, which is costing them revenue, has led to their shares crashing by 25%. It will undoubtedly lead to a demand for a great deal more from the Sussexes, including some actual content. The original announcement promised documentaries, children's programs, scripted shows and feature films. It is surely time Netflix had value for money, and it sounds as if they need it too. He added, there might well be pressure from Netflix executives to get more royal content in what they produce. It is highly unlikely that it will actually involve the filming of or interviews with any members of the royal family. One of the reasons that the Sussexes had to step down as senior working royals was that commercial ventures have to be separate from royal duties. They chose the road they are now on. In 2016, the Queen participated in a light-hearted video with the Obamas to promote Invictus for Harry in the United States. This would not be likely to happen again, and certainly not for Netflix. And bosses at the California-based firm will be looking to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex to help revitalize it after they signed a deal worth $100 million in September 2020, but have not yet finished producing any content. In April last year, the couple's Archie Productions arm announced a documentary called Heart of Invictus about people competing at the Games, with a camera crew following them at the event in The Hague in recent days. And 3 months later, in July 2021, it was revealed that Meghan is creating an animal series for children called Pearl about the adventures of a 12-year-old girl, but nothing has yet materialized of either production. The Sussexes could join the Queen and other members of the royal family on the balcony of Buckingham Palace for her Platinum Jubilee, but Netflix cameras will not be allowed to film them, according to The Sun. Thanks for watching. Please share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks.